phone, work done in
Showtime.
days, not weeks. Easier than ordering a pizza.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All righty, welcome to the program, everyone. Man, do we have a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we were last here, and we're going to cover a lot of it. We're going to talk about this sad, pathetic, weak, desperate interview that Kamala is doing tomorrow. You know, the whole thing that when you have someone like Kamala or Hillary is that they're just as good as men. They're equal as men. Like no, hold on. Hillary. That was my computer in the background. They're just as good as men. They can do whatever men can do. In fact, they're tougher because they have to break glass ceilings and stuff all the time. Kamala Harris finally doing an interview with a friend, which is Dana Bash of CNN, and she can't do it alone. She's doing it with Tim Walz. You know, Tim Walz is there to cover for her. He's there as a security blanket for her. It's very weak. It's very weak. You know, no matter how stupid you think Kamala Harris is, no matter how vacuous you believe she is, she's worse. She's far worse, or they wouldn't do something like this. I've never seen anything like this before. When you're running for president of the United States, you're supposed to be able to handle anything. You know, like here on this program, I take the call screenless. We don't have to do that. Mike, our board op, he could answer the phones and screen them. We take them screenless. And the reason we do that is a number of reasons, but one of the reasons, I think it makes the show more interesting. For a lot of reasons, you know, which I'm not going to get into right now, but I think it makes... But I could go to the phones at any point during the show, any day of the week. I have no idea who's on the line until I click them on the air. And I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what they're going to bring up. I don't know what they're going to ask me about. But at the point I am now, it is expected of me to be able to handle all of that. And I don't have someone here that has my back. I got to deal with whatever someone brings up to me. And those of you that are longtime listeners, people have brought up some stuff personal about me many a time. It can happen. People bring up things all the time that you may have never heard me talk about, and I've got to have an answer. I've got to be able to have a discussion. That's the way it is, especially on Fridays when it's open phones. People can call in about anything under the sun on Friday's show. Who knows what they're going to bring up on a day like that? If I had someone standing next to me, in case I couldn't hack it, that would jump in and take over if I was over my head, what would that look like? It'd look weak. And that's what Kamala Harris is doing. This is really bad. And I know everyone recognizes this. I mean, the fact is, she is in need of a man, which is the opposite of what feminists tell you that they need. They always tell you they don't need a man. Jesse Waters said last night, I like what he said. Jesse Waters said that she's a frightened woman. She is. This is bizarre. This is how it used to be, like pre the 70s. I saw a commercial. A friend of mine sent me. He texted me an old commercial from the 60s. Might have been the early 70s. It was either the 60s or early 70s for Camaro. I couldn't believe this. It was a commercial for Camaro where you could get a special bumper put on your Camaro, men, for when your wife's driving. And I know a lot of you have seen this because it's been circulating. It's one of the first viral videos in the history of the internet. I haven't seen it in years, but you may have seen this. But I haven't seen it in many years. You probably never seen this, Mike. There's this old television commercial for tires. Have you ever seen this? It's like in the 60s, maybe the 70s. And husband and wife, they're driving to the airport, and of course the husband's leaving, and the wife has to drive home, and it's at night, and it's a commercial for, I can't remember what tire brand it is, but it was one of the major ones, like Firestone or Goodyear, one of the big tire brands. It was a national ad, and that was a big deal back then because there was no cable. We only had 3 channels, so, you know. And they had tires so good that even a woman could handle the road with them in high traffic with low visibility when it was dark. And they would show this woman frantically scared, but she had these tires. You know, I was watching a couple weeks ago an old special online for the opening of Tomorrowland at Walt Disney World in Orlando, which was in the, I don't know, like 73 or 4. And, you know, they have this, and I'm sure you're familiar, in Disney World, they have the speedway where you drive the cars. They're on a track, but you drive the cars. It's like a go-kart. It's a go-kart with a gasoline engine, but it's got like a rail in the middle, you know. And they have this guy from Disney. They're unveiling this ride. This was on national television on ABC in the early 70s. And he made it a joke. He says, and he's got this at Disney, right? And ABC network television, and he says, we've made the lanes extra wide for you ladies. Because ladies, of course, can't drive and crash into other cars. And everybody laughed, including the women, and nobody even thought anything of it. So what Kamala Harris is doing by having Tim Walz there with her, when she's being interviewed in a friendly setting with Dana Bash on CNN, is an embarrassment. And it shows that she is unfit to be president of a homeowners association. She couldn't deal with a contract for the lawn crew to trim the bushes in a HOA if she's got to have a man there behind her. What kind of message does that send to the world? She's going to bring Tim Walz in when she's sitting down with Putin? I've never seen anything like this before, especially for a friendly interview on top of it. And also, I imagine it's going to be pre-recorded. So here, so does CNN want to help or hurt? Pre-recorded meaning they can edit to take out anything they don't want in there. This is devastating. This interview that Kamala Harris is doing with Tim Walz, with Dana Bash on CNN, is like the nail in the coffin of her presidential dreams. That's it. I mean, there is no getting around it. Now, let's hear your thoughts on this. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're calling from. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Hey, guys. I put a link pinned to the top of the chat. That is a good friend of mine's podcast. Okay? Make sure I got it in there. Did I pin it? It's the Eugene Hamilton podcast. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's his Spotify link. If you guys could click that link and take a listen to his podcast and subscribe to it, I'd appreciate it. He's just starting out. It's really good. He's a good guy. It's a good podcast. And he asked if I would help kick off his podcast, and I told him yes, that I would. Yeah, okay. All right. What when you told me about it, I couldn't think straight when we're on the air. What's today? To figure out what it was. But all I had to do was uninstall and reinstall Adobe Audition. That's all it was. I mean, if it wasn't during the show, I would have thought about it right away. But
All Your Polling Weather Center. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, and right now it's 79 degrees. Close by, stay cool, stay dry, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning.
Yeah. That's all I had to do. There was an update on Adobe Audition, and something about there must be a bug in it.
it's just crashing out like that.
So I installed the previous version from like last week, and so
hopefully they'll figure out the bug, because if it
I don't know.
Be us, you know.
It was with those presets because I tried it with other presets I have and it didn't do it. It was specific with those presets that I use, like with the podcast presets and without presets. With the ones built in, it didn't. Just did it with that. So there's something about those. Maybe they're not compatible with the latest version.
Definitely not. All year, we offer same-day
Uh-huh.
service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us
All
today
right.
at 833 all year. That's 833 all
Let
year.
me get queued up here.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs.
Yeah, guys, so if you could click the link to that podcast. Genie's a friend of mine, the Eugene Robinson podcast. Very good podcast. I've listened to it. It's very good. He's a friend of mine. And, you know, it's so hard for people to get a podcast started. I get it. So it would be doing him and me a favor if you could click that link, take a listen, and subscribe.
With Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, 17 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, it's the Steve Kane Show. You know, this thing about her doing a pre-recorded, now it depends if Dana Bash and CNN want Kamala to look good or bad. That is an unknown because Dana Bash was part of the team with Fake Tapper that ran Biden out of the race. They made this happen. So, you know, I do not do a lot of interviews, okay? People ask me to do interviews, and I do not do a lot of interviews. I did an interview recently with someone I know that has a show. And the interview was fine, and it's a friend of mine, but they did something that was fine because they're a friend of mine, and I know they wouldn't, you know, do things. But this is why I don't do recorded interviews, okay? If I do an interview, it has to either be someone I know, someone that I know has a lot of credibility, or live, okay? Live. And now again, this turned out fine because this was a friend of mine. But I did a pre-recorded interview with someone. Someone wanted to interview me for their YouTube channel and podcast recently to help with their podcast and all this stuff, which I do sometimes. And we're in different states. And it was recorded, and they made a mistake, and they forgot. They recorded it in 2 tracks, which meant I was on one voice track, they were on another. I don't know why they did that. They didn't have to, but they did. And they forgot to hit record on their track. So all they had was my part of the interview. So what they did, because I listened to it, and it seemed a little, I'm like, I don't remember that exactly. And I answered a question, and it wasn't the one that was asked. And I'm like, I don't remember. It just seemed a little off. And what they had told me was that they had forgotten to record their track. So they went back and plugged in their questions with my track, which is fine. That, because they're a friend of mine and I trust them and they wouldn't screw me over. But that's one of the reasons I don't do recorded interviews, the few interviews that I do, because they can take that and make it sound like anything they want, okay? Did that work, Mike? Yes. Absolutely. We had a big technical issue yesterday here at the radio station. We got it all worked out and fixed. There's a big crisis going on during the show yesterday, but we got it fixed. So they recorded their part over. And then I went back and listened to it, and I could tell. because it didn't quite match up. They could have done any. They could have had me saying anything, right? So Kamala's doing a pre-recorded interview with friends at CNN. She's got a man to give her backup. If she cackles, they can cut that out and you would not even know it. If she gives a stupid answer and they could do a do-over and you wouldn't know it. If her answer doesn't quite fit what the question was, Dana Bash can go back and record a new question and frame it in a way that it makes sense. This is insane. You know, you want to be the first female president? You got to step up. You got to show that you can do it and that you're not some weak, frightened woman who's a bird brain. And it's really bad if you got to have this Tim Walz to have your back. That's even worse. And CNN is hyping this up like it's the interview of the century. They have a countdown clock on the bottom right of their screen counting down until the interview. What is it that big of a deal? You know, the thing about these glass ceilings, right? Like, I remember, like, back in the 90s, there was a lot of talk about who'd be the first black president. And a lot of people thought it was going to be Colin Powell. Thank the Lord it wasn't. He was a fake Republican, hardcore liberal jerk. And he also, I know he's no longer with us, but he committed some hardcore war crimes by lying about the weapons of mass destruction to the United Nations. They caused the Iraq War, and who knows how many millions of lives have been destroyed because of that since then. But you know, and it never happened. But I remember when Obama was elected in 2008, having the first black president, okay, on election night when Barack and Michelle came out with Sasha and Malia, like the last time you saw Sasha and Malia when they were properly dressed and not smoking Cheech and Chong-sized doobies, you know, they were little kids. For a second, it's like, oh, wow, you know, first family, president's black now, that's different. But after that, it was no big deal. And it's also no big deal that a woman's running for president, by the way. This isn't 75. It isn't even 84, right? It wasn't even a big deal. When Geraldine Ferraro was running for vice president, that was 84 with Mondale. Did that seem like a big deal at the time? Nah. You know, this is the thing that I've come to realize. When these things happen, it's just a natural progression in society, and when they happen naturally, it's just no big deal. Although this didn't happen naturally, she hasn't gotten a single vote. And here she is with the nomination. When is the last time that's happened? Probably 1968, maybe. No, probably even before that. Did Ford have to run in the primaries in 76? I imagine he did. He had to get some primary votes. But regardless of all that, he got creamed. Why? Because he wasn't, Watergate, he wasn't elected. But this is weak. It's a national embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to her. If she had the ability to do anything on her own without coaching, she wouldn't be there with Tim Walz. And she would at least do an interview with someone on Fox. You know, Fox hates Trump. She could sit down with Bret Baier or Martha McCallum, and they might give the illusion they're being rough on her, but they really wouldn't be rough on her. My guess is CNN, she knows that if anything has to be scrubbed from the interview, CNN will do it. You know, what's as important as what you see on screen is what happens off the air. And I was talking towards the end of yesterday's show. She's finally agreed to do the debate with the preconditions that they had previously with Trump, an ABC debate, also friends of hers. And I am telling you, especially after this announcement that Tim Walz is going to have her back on a friendly interview with Bash on CNN, they really need to have the hair behind her ears at the debate. Seeing how dumb she is, where she can't stand on her own 2 feet in a friendly interview what are the odds she's going to have hidden under her hair during the debate an earpiece? I think there's a very good chance of that now. Very good chance of that now. And I'll tell you, they may have a way to communicate with her from the audience. You know, there's a good documentary on Amazon, the guys that ran the scam to beat The Price is Right. Have you seen this documentary? Have you seen this, Mike? It's unbelievable. They found out that The Price is Right had the same prizes in a continuous loop, and the prices never changed on the prizes. So they wrote down what all the prizes were, and they would go, and sometimes they would become contestants. And when one of them got picked to be a contestant, they would give them signals from the audience on the price for that particular item to bid on. And they won not just a showcase showdown, they won the double on the showcase showdown at the end. In the documentary, they say that was the only time that ever happened. That's not true. I saw that happen when I was a kid with Bob Barker once, when I was out of school for the summer. But, you know, Kamala Harris, they need to check her ears. Her hair needs to be behind her ears. I find it impossible to believe that she is going to go out there without some way for them to save her after what's going on with this CNN interview with Dana Bash. There's just no getting around it. Now, I want to tell you guys about My Pillow. With our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you can save up to 80% off on top My Pillow products. Free shipping on all orders over $75 site-wide. You can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane. But the My Pillow that started it all is $19.98 right now with our promo code Kane at checkout. This is an incredible deal. This is a great time to do your Christmas shopping. This is for a limited time, as is the free shipping. And they don't give me a time limit. I either get a call or I'll get an email early in the morning before I go on the air. Free shipping's gone, and the wholesale employee pricing on the My Pillow's gone. They don't give me advance notice. I ask them all the time. They don't. So take advantage of this now. It's a great time to do your Christmas shopping. I'll tell you this. My wife and I, we give a lot of My Pillow stuff away for Christmas to people, and they love it. They love it. It's the only gift that I went to my mom's house on Saturday. I got her a My Pillow for Mother's Day, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, when My Pillow first joined us. The first Mother's Day after they joined us, I got my mom it was either Christmas or Mother's Day. I can't remember. No, it was Mother's Day, because my wife came over for Christmas. She stayed on Christmas Eve. She stayed the night, and she goes in the guest room, and she says, "Can you give me one of those My Pillows you're always talking about on the radio, see if they really are what you say?" I'm like, "Well, thanks, Mom," you know. But she woke up on Christmas morning, she says, "Wow, that's amazing." So we got her a My Pillow for Mother's Day. This had to be 5 years ago, and I went over to my mom's house on Saturday, and she was showing me some stuff in her bedroom, and there was the My Pillow. It was right there, and it looked like the day I gave it to her 5 years ago. These are great deals, and I paid a lot more than the $19.98 for it, by the way. Makes a great gift. Load up on your Christmas shopping at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Free shipping on all orders over $75. We'll be right back.
Making more.
Hey, guys. All right.
Just one more.
That's right.
Rome from the All Year Polling Weather Center. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, and right now it's 79 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 89 degrees, with partly cloudy conditions from 10 to 11 a.m., and then we have some thunderstorms expected after 1 p.m. So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay cool, stay dry, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com
Yeah.
to schedule your service today. And Remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true
Yeah, the people I got the presets from are sending me an update to fix that. So it's happening with everybody in that.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
we weren't the only one. All right.
Yeah, they haven't sent me the fix yet, but they said they are sending it.
That's good. Then at least you could update your movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mess with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's good to know that it wasn't just...
Yeah, I know. If it wasn't during the show yesterday, I would have figured it out right away. Because this morning, before I left, I did it with and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh. And I reinstalled it. It did it again. So I looked. It was just updated the other day. So I put in the previous. When I get this fixed, it'll work on the new.
Okay. I'm sure they'll probably make it sound
Mm-hmm.
when they like update it.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, the thing you sent me yesterday, like, I was gonna say, it sounded good all the way until like the last part, and I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know
what the heck, like, how'd that work all the way into that?
I have no idea.
That's why I was so confused.
Yeah.
It's good. So, good.
Let's see. Oh. Let's see.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't need a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never
Hey, guys.
sell a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. Did you know?
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Transportation, catching a ride with the Volin Center coach has never been easier. The Volin Center has been providing rides for seniors age 60 and over since 1968. Available to all clients and the public. Pick you up or take you home. To shopping and appointments too. Servicing both and free rides to doctors. The Volin Center. Together, we make community happen. Learn more at VolinCenter.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all-natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic
All right.
Neil Practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642.
All right, we're coming back.
MedicalCenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Celebrating 47 years.
All righty, 35 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So, you know, the feminazis, remember Rush used to call them feminazis? Don't you miss that? The feminazis? Yeah, I know. Rush had a lot of good stuff. The feminazis should be embarrassed that Kamala Harris needs a man to get her back. That's right. And Jesse Waters, when he called her a frightened woman last night, that was brilliant. They're already all over Jesse Waters. You know, Jesse Waters has been doing good stuff over there in the last couple of months, and they're out to get him. All right, your thoughts on this certainly are welcome. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Margate Marie.
Margate Marie, what's up?
I love your show, Brian. You tell the truth every day, and I so appreciate you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be appreciated in Margate. That's where Friendly Tire is.
I used to be a special ed teacher. And what Kamala is doing on the debate is the same as what we used to do with mentally handicapped students.
Really?
We used to provide them with supported employment, and when they went to their job.
Wait, slow down. Supportive employment is what you said. You would provide special needs students with supportive employment. Is that the term you used?
Yes.
What is that?
You'd send somebody to shadow them when they went on their job, and if they had trouble doing any of the duties, the person would advise them and counsel them and show them what to do, and that's what she's doing on the debate. She has to bring somebody with her.
Supportive employment. You know, and there's another aspect too, and I truly mean this. I believe, without a doubt, that Tim Walz is a Chinese spy. All right, who gets married in Tiananmen Square? He went there like right after the massacre, right? And we've been talking about him a lot in the last month. Dana Bash is CIA. Her husband, Mr. Bash, is a senior CIA guy, okay? And, you know, this is very strange. This interview with Dana Bash, with Kamala, with her supportive, what would we call him, the supportive employment aide, is very, very strange. Now, come on, you don't want to laugh. So what you're doing is you were a special eds teacher, which is very, very difficult to do. So you're actually saying that Kamala Harris is like the short school bus crowd, literally. You're cackling like Kamala. Are you Kamala? You're cackling like her. This is what she does. All right.
Doesn't seem that bright.
Yeah, Margate Marie. I'll tell you this. You know, I go to Margate from time to time because that's where Friendly Tire is. And I rode my Vespa over there a couple weeks ago, and I went down Rock Island Road from 441 to University Drive. That was a great drive. It's like a shortcut through Margate, right to Coral Springs. It was very nice. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. Yeah. So, you know, do you guys remember this? Do they still do the short school buses? I remember my grandparents when they were retired. This was in Ohio. They lived in like a retirement apartment building community, and the woman that lived downstairs, her son, who was, I don't know, I was a little kid. He was an adult, and he would go to school every day on a short school bus. And I remember there were a couple of kids that had the helmets on because I guess they banged their heads on the short school bus. So that's what Kamala Harris is. Supportive employment. I've never heard that before. Supportive employment. You know, the whole thing about being a president, especially in times like this, is showing strength. All right. If you go back, there's all these comparisons to Jimmy Carter, right? I mean, they say Biden's worse than Jimmy Carter. I remember Jimmy Carter. And, you know, what I remember most about Jimmy Carter, because I was a little kid, were people talking about the gas shortages. People talked about it, but the main thing I remember are the American hostages in Iran, right? You guys remember that? Everybody put candles in their windows, and Walter Cronkite did the evening news when that was a big deal, and he did, day 236, America held hostage. And Jimmy Carter was such a wimp, okay? He was such a wimp. He couldn't get them to release. And if you go back and watch this, don't do this now, do it after 9 a.m., but if you look up online and watch President Reagan's first inauguration, when everyone's coming out, the last, 5 minutes that Jimmy Carter's president, he's walking out and a reporter says to him, "Are the hostages released yet?" He says no. And the Iranians released the American hostages the minute that Ronald Reagan was sworn into office. And everyone knows why they did that. They were afraid they knew Ronald Reagan was a tough guy. He was going to wipe them out. If they didn't release the American hostages, Iran would have been wiped out, which probably would have made the world a better place, because they've been nothing but a pain since that time. All this stuff with Hamas and everything's Iran. But Jimmy Carter was weak, and we got whooped. And also, the economy, they had record inflation, not as high as now, but record inflation on top of it. And, the Islamic Revolution had just happened in Iran. Iran was really a weak country at that point, because the new government and everything, the Ayatollah returned and all that stuff. Remember the Shah was over here and all that, from Iran. And they were afraid of Iran because Jimmy Carter was such a weak person. What does Kamala Harris show with what this special ed teacher from Margate just said, when she has to have a supportive employment? She has to have someone shadowing her, Tim Walz, on a friendly interview. What message does that send to the world and to our enemies? You think that tells Putin that he better stop this war? Do you think it tells Iran and Hamas that they better stop kidnapping and killing Jews? Okay, now since I mentioned that, I do want to mention this. There's a lot of people out there that are attacking the Israeli hostage that was rescued. The girl that was kidnapped by the terrorist on the motorcycle? She was at a music festival this week, and she was on some guy's shoulder in a skimpy bikini, and she was dancing at the music festival on this guy's shoulder with everything hanging out. And people are, attacking her online, saying 200 people died for this. What she was doing was showing that we're not going to let these terrorists hold us down. We're having a music festival. They had another rave. They just did it in front of the press this time. People really need to lay off that girl. She could have dressed a little less revealing. The bikini didn't really look too good on her either. But they're attacking her because of that. But the 200 that sadly died because they were, holding her hostage. They shouldn't be doing that. But regardless of all this, this is the biggest sign of weakness I think that we've ever seen from a presidential candidate. I don't think I've ever seen something quite like this. Now, it's not unusual for both of them to do interviews together, but not the first interview, especially when there's been a big controversy about her not doing any interviews or taking any questions. Now, I want to read this letter from one of our listeners, Eller. I've read this a few times on the air, but it's a very good letter, and it's about Dr. Appleton. Eller, you've heard him. He's called in. He's a listener. He listens in Rochester, New York, and he flew to Florida, stayed here 4 days in Florida, so he could have a couple of visits with Dr. Appleton and take advantage of the laser away pain treatment. And he went back to New York, and he sent Dr. Appleton this letter, and Dr. Appleton sent it to me, and they both said I could read it on the air. That's why I do it sometimes. Dear Dr. Appleton, I wanted to thank you for giving me my life back. My knees are now painless. I'd like to let you know that after 3 weeks, how I'm doing. Every day, I can walk and stand without any pain. In the evening. I guess he paid for it at night, right? Oh, man. That's right. I don't suffer like before. After I came back home, I had a doctor's appointment. Surprisingly, my blood pressure read 118. Usually it's 135 to 146. I asked my doctor if the painless knee has something to do with it. The doctor said yes. Not only is my pain gone, but my heart is not working as hard as before. Thank you, Eller. It's one of our listeners. Give Dr. Appleton a call, guys. His laser wave pain treatment works. And Dr. Appleton, if you're listening, I'm sorry I haven't seen you in a while, but you rid me of my pain, and I haven't gotten hurt since. So next time I get hurt, I'll see you, Dr. Appleton. Give him a call. Now remember, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Okay.
Become the superstar you dream of being at Game Day Men's Health. With expert licensed staff trained with clinical research, Game Day Men's Health crafts a playbook specialized for you to raise your testosterone levels and reach peak performance. Rejuvenate, energize, and feel like a champion with increased muscle mass and libido. Call 561-355-5341 or online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com/palm-beach-gardens. Score big at Game Day Men's Health.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires.
Oh my goodness.
$70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because.
Oh my goodness, guys.
Balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Hi, I'm Sunset. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house, definitely not. Out all year, same day.
Hey, I need a copy of one of the commercials because I got to update it. The one with Dr. Matez with my voice on it. It's one where I talk about Biden.
Yes, all year.
Could you are you able to get that off of there and text it to me? Oh yeah, no hurry. I can't do that. Yeah, it's the one with me, and then at the end, nobody wants to be like Joe Biden. Yeah.
Mike's offering the queen size My Pillow for just $19.98 with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Plus, you can get the 6-piece My Pillow towel set for just $25. The bed sheets, they're $25 too. The new My Pillow mattress topper as low as $69.98.
Oh, by the way, I just got a message from Eugene Hamilton with that podcast link I put up there. It's his podcast. Thanking you guys who clicked it and subbed and have started listening. So if you could click that link and listen and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. He's a good guy. All right. Oh, man. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, things are great. I mean, the Trump miracle continues. After everything they put him through, including shooting him, okay, for him to be where he is today is amazing. Things are going well. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know, that commercial you were talking about earlier was a Goodyear commercial with the tires and the woman.
Oh, did you look it up this morning?
Yes, I looked it up.
I told you don't do anything, don't listen to anything else till after 9. If you're how can you listen to me if you're doing that?
Yeah, I just looked it up. I didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Listen to it. I just looked it up. Yeah, but yeah, there's a couple of tells that when she does interviews and when Kamala Harris does interviews that you know things are going to go off the rails. She has that nervous laughter that you know when she does that, she doesn't have the answer to whatever question they're going to give her.
Mm-hmm.
And two, if she answers it and she gives you just the word salad, that's another tell. She doesn't have the answer. It's not registering with her, you know?
Well, you know, women like Kamala Harris, they get where they are by doing the things she did. That only gets you so far. You get to the top, and all of a sudden, You got to do something. You know, there's a movie that a lot of you probably have seen with I just forgot his name. Oh my goodness, who's goodness, Robert Redford. Robert Redford in The Candidate. You ever see The Candidate with Robert Redford? It's a very good movie. It was made in the 70s, and he's a guy in California who's some community activist, and he runs for the Senate. And it's about the campaign. It's a very good movie. You guys should watch it after 9 o'clock, okay? But at the end, the last scene of the movie, he wins. And then he says to his guys, now what? What do we do now? You know, he's like, wait, what, now what? Because you get to, you know, Kamala Harris has gotten where she is through the seduction of men. And I imagine very unattractive men for the most part, because look, I'm surprised Montel was with her. You know, because he was like famous. I don't know what Montel Williams was doing with her. You know, he could do it. But, you know, and you can't, she has gotten, this thing with Tim Walz, I'm not alleging any inappropriate relations between her and Tim Walz, but she's gotten through life leaning on men. Connected men, powerful men, accomplished men. So she doesn't know how to do anything that is high pressure without turning to a man to get her out of it. What, I can't pass the bar, or get me a job, or get me an elected office. You understand? So this having Tim Walz there when she's being interviewed by a friend is just a continuation of what she's done her whole life. Leaned on men.
And you're right to say that if there's going to be a recorded interview, they could stop it several times and say, look, we meant to say, we want this particular question asked, now answer it. Then come back to it, you know. I mean, that's another tell.
Yeah.
Not a serious person when they do that type of stuff.
Exactly. And there is no way. You know, Montel Williams unfollowed me on Twitter. He used to follow me, Montel. Why did Montel unfollow me? I wonder why. He followed. I haven't checked in a while, so I don't know when maybe he doesn't like the way I've been talking about Kamala. But Montel followed me for years on Twitter. What the heck? I don't know, Montel. Maybe Montel's been listening. He doesn't like what I've been saying about his old girl. You guys can talk about my old girlfriends all you want. I mean, they're not on my radar anymore. But, you know, but I'm not just joking about this thing with Kamala leaning on men. That's the type of woman she is. So she's got to have a man there to get her out of trouble.
And that previous caller, the one that was just before me, or the caller before me, that was talking about special ed students, you know?
Yes.
I mean, I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about her in that way until that woman talked about it, you know?
Yeah, I don't believe that she's like a special needs person, but she's just out of her league. That's it. Hey, appreciate the call, Mike from Louisiana. Now, Cornel West, you know, he's a weirdo and everything else, but he's an honest guy. He's a radical leftist, Cornel West, California liberal college professor. He was in the Matrix sequel. He was in the second Matrix movie, Matrix Reloaded. He played a member of the governing council, deep beneath the earth, Cornel West. I don't know why they got him to do that. I thought that was weird. But he's running for president, and he did this interview yesterday and talked about how the Democrats tried to bribe him over this. Listen to this. Let me pull this up. Cornel West. Now, hold on. Why is it not playing? Do I have the right thing on? It was just playing a minute ago. Okay.
On this, did they offer you a cabinet position, a lower position, and offer to pay off any of your campaign debt?
Well, they offered serious substantive conversation about all of those that could lead toward some real
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
And
Okay, so they tried to bribe him. And, you know, I have no respect for Cornel West. He is a weirdo, he's a radical guy, and he's a nut. But he is honest. And I believe everything he just said there, that they tried to bribe him. That's what this is what these people do. Yesterday we were talking about what they did with Bobby Kennedy. They went and found people that were in an AA meeting with him. Can you imagine? They're approaching people that were in AA. How do they even? It's interesting. How do they even know who was in AA with him? That makes me wonder who's doing that kind of research for Kamala with Bobby Kennedy. Is it the CIA or the CCP? I don't know which. But to find out who's in an AA meeting with Bobby Kennedy, and now all of a sudden, he sold me cocaine in college or something, so what? I mean, it was a long time ago, and, he lost his dad to an assassin. He had a messed up life. He's not doing it now, like in the Biden family at the White House. Now, if he was doing it now, it'd be a different thing. But back in the 70s, come on, early 80s, who cares? And we're not making him vice president either, okay? Now, some people have been saying, some people have left some comments to me, and I've seen some others talking about this on social media. There's a big disinformation campaign that's being run. It's the very beginnings of it with the Never Trumper wing of the Republican Party, the Lincoln Project types. And this coalition that President Trump is putting together, Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard are the first two, and he announced yesterday that Tulsi Gabbard will be joining Bobby Kennedy and Eric Trump and Don Jr. and all the rest on the presidential transition team, okay? And like I say, we could very well find Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy's secretary of something. It's possible. But there's this discussion they're trying to do to discourage us by talking about the new MAGA, and one person left me, the new MAGA sucks. They're liberal, radical liberals. Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy are not MAGA, and President Trump has not given one concession to them on any of his platform or his beliefs. In fact, Tulsi Gabbard said yesterday to Trump, let me pull this up. I was going to not play this. I know I got it somewhere. Maybe I'll play it later. But Tulsi Gabbard was with... Oh, here it is. I got it right here. Let me play. This is what I'm talking about. This is Tulsi Gabbard with President Trump yesterday.
Grateful to be here today with you, Mr. President. We may not agree on everything, but we agree on a lot. And most importantly, we agree on the threat that Kamala Harris as president poses with her policies and how she will continue.
Okay, now they don't have a mic, and the mic's not that great. But she says, we don't agree on everything, but we agree on some core principles. See, that's what I was telling you guys yesterday. We agree on some core principles. Stop letting the military-industrial complex get us in these endless, nonstop wars around the world and seal up the damn border and deport all the illegals, get the inflation down. We agree on some core things that got to be done. Now, if Trump was making deals with them and all of a sudden was a liberal, you'd have a point, but he's not doing any of that. Now, if you would like to join us on our cruise, I need a vacation now, but it's election season. I can't take a vacation. Our next cruise leaves on March 30th. It's a week. We're on the Celebrity, is it the Ascent we're on this time? We're on the newest Celebrity ship. It's a beautiful ship. We have all private events. Our dinner is private, and we're doing something special at dinner this year. We're doing a lot of onboard activities that we've never done before on this cruise. All of our shore excursions are private, just to our group. It's a great MAGA group. This is going to be our largest group ever. So, which is really amazing. I mean, you guys that come on the cruise, it's amazing to me. People fly in from all over America to go on these cruises. We're sailing out of Fort Lauderdale and at Port Everglades. Join us. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. In fact, Steve and Lori are bringing one of their sons with them this year. That's right. It's going to be a great time, and you are all invited. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Well, not all of you. Al, you're not invited. We'll be right back.
FS 104.3 HD3.
Yeah, liberal Al's not.
Commercial is at the end of this hour, so I'm just gonna pull it from the.
Yeah, I don't need like a studio quality. If you just pull, I just need it for the copy.
Yeah, I was looking through to see if it, if I could just.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I was like, perfect.
Yeah, that's
Wrote
the
it down,
easiest.
so I remembered to just.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I could do it during when I start the first. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. By All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now,
If you're on hold, hang in there.
traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Yeah, Liberal Al still. He called in recently. Our cruise group is private, right? So it's private. So I do have a list of people that are not allowed to go and be a part of our group. I'm not going to tell you who's on the list. But, yes. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Trump's going to be president. What a celebration we're going to have. If you've not joined us on the cruise, you guys really should. We'll have a great, great time. And the reason it grows, every cruise we have a bigger group, because the people that go, they keep coming back because they have such a great time. Does Barry call in today? Oh. Oh, by the way, was it last week or the week before? I told you guys I was going through a really terrible thing, and I asked you guys to pray for me. I didn't tell you what it was. I still can't tell you what it was, and it got a lot better. So you guys that said those prayers for me, thanks so much. There's no doubt in my mind that your prayers helped with that issue that I've been going through. Now I was having a tough time. It was hard for me to come into the studio. Here we go. All righty. Hour number 2 has begun. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to throw this out. I'd like to hear somebody with this. but we'll get back to the issues. Who thinks they've been listening to the Steve Kane Show the longest? If you could give me a call, I'd appreciate it. Who's been listening to Steve Kane the longest and me the longest? I'm curious how far back some of you go. And I'll ask some questions to find out if you're telling the truth, because I got a good memory. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about this cowardly woman, Kamala Harris. She's doing this interview on CNN. She's afraid to do it on her own, so she's doing a friendly interview. Dana Bash on CNN, pre-recorded, and she's going to have Tim Walz there with her. And I was talking in the last hour that Kamala Harris has always turned to men for help when she was in trouble. Men are all, she needs something, she goes to a man. So this is a continuation of that sugar daddy, sugar baby thing that she's been doing her entire life. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Cheryl in Iowa.
Hey, Cheryl. What's up in Iowa? What's going on?
Hi there. My daughter is going to the Minnesota State Fair, and she found out that they have one of the booths up there, and it's a Never Walz booth.
Oh.
So she's going to get a bunch of stuff up there.
A Never Waltz, yeah. JD says Waltz. Do you say his name Waltz? I don't see a T there. Yeah. Looks like Walz to me.
It's her emotional support.
I'll tell you this about Minnesota, okay? Obviously, Minnesota's a Democrat state. There's a lot of liberal... they elected Al Franken, Walter Mondale, and who was that liberal guy that died in the plane crash, Senator? Paul Wellstone. And people don't remember Paul Wellstone. He wasn't as famous, but he was one of these tree-hugger, hardcore, left-wing, Birkenstock-wearing liberals, and he was in the Senate, and he tragically died in a plane crash. But it's a very liberal state. But we also had, who was the senator before Al Franken? Norm. You know who I'm talking about? Norm Coleman. And he was very conservative. At least I remember him being that way. And a lot of people in Minnesota are really upset. The Somalians have taken over. I was talking last week. My wife's cousin lives in Minnesota. And he was telling my wife about how the Somalians have their own police force, their own government. The regular police can't enforce laws against the Somalians. A lot of people in Minnesota feel like they're being held hostage in their own state. And, a large turnout in a presidential election, it is not out of the question for Trump to win Minnesota. I'm not predicting that, but it is possible because there's so much outrage by Americans in Minnesota over Walz, the Somalian problem they've got there, and everything else. That could happen. It could happen.
There's a lot of complaints about him up there.
Yeah.
Me being in Iowa, you hear a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't realize how bad he was.
Well, I never heard of him before a few weeks ago. Now he's a household name. He's an idiot. All right, appreciate the call. Take care from Iowa. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
First thing I'd like to say is, if there's something I have to buy, I always buy that Mike Lindell sells. I buy it from him. I just bought his slip-on sandals to try them out.
From My Pillow, yes.
From My Pillow, man, those things are fantastic.
The slides?
Great. The quality is great. They feel like you're walking on air. Fantastic. I'm going to buy 4 more pair now to go by every door.
Well, make sure that you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout.
Of course, no doubt about it. Anyway, back to this Kamala. Like they say, you can't change the leopard spots. This woman is just pathetic. She needs a man to help her out her whole life, and that's what she's going to do. But what are they going to...
and it isn't unique to her. I mean, look at Lindsey Graham, right? Lindsey Graham always gravitates towards whatever the strong man in the Republican Party running the show is at the time. He was in the Trump, then he abandons Trump, before that he was in the John McCain, and Kamala Harris throughout her entire life has gotten to where she is by going to a man when she was in trouble. So her doing an interview with her male running mate by her side, I don't even think she thinks anything of it because that's what she's always done.
Yeah, she needs a crutch to help her out. But I'm not going to listen to it. But I'm wondering what are they possibly going to say? To steal everything from Trump, or are they going to say?
Oh, like the border wall?
Yeah, this is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the election, man. I can't wait to forget about these people because this is going to be great to see.
Oh, yeah.
Back in office, man.
It sure will. All right, take care. Conservative Doug, good call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard in Pamela.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, you were asking about how long we've been listening to you. I don't remember the dates, but I can tell you certain things that were going on.
Mm-hmm.
Need a date. This is when Neil Rogers used to call Steve Kane his show Contrived Controversy. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then there was a lawyer, a gay lawyer.
Norm Kent, yeah.
Kent. All right, so maybe this is the late 60s, early 60s.
No, not that. No, it's more recent than that. No, Norm Kent, who's dead, so we can talk about him now. You know, that guy caused me so much trouble in my life. Oh my gosh! But that you're talking about the early 90s. Yeah, that's the old WFTL, the old 1400 WFTL. Not that thing that they're using our old call letters on. It was a great station. It was a 1,000-watt AM radio station in Broward. You couldn't even get it in Boca. You couldn't even get it like in Hollywood. And people talk about that station over 30 years later. Yeah, that was sometime between 90 and 94.
Okay, well, then another thing he would say, at the end of his show, I'm going to Mommy's to have lunch.
Steve never said he's going to Mommy's for lunch. Oh, Neil Rogers said that. I don't remember that.
Biggest commercial was pushing something, a drug that helped his knees or something.
I don't remember that. But if you're talking about Norm Kent, that had to be like glucosamine. Yeah, that was between 90 and 94 sometime. So you go back pretty far. That's pretty good. And to Steve and Neil Rogers. Hopefully you didn't hear me back then, because that would be embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Oh, thankfully. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're pretty embarrassing for me. All right, if you are on hold, stand by. But do you agree or disagree with me that it probably doesn't even occur to Kamala Harris how bad this looks because she's always leaned on a man when she was in trouble or up against, help me, Willie. Help me. Or whoever was taking care of things at the time after Willie Brown. All right, our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. I want to talk to you about Sloman's and the free doorbell camera offer. Guys, take advantage of this. The doorbell camera will change your life. I love it. Now, my wife's disabled, so she can't get out of the house and do shopping and stuff. So my wife, but she still likes to do it. So she does everything through Amazon and DoorDash and Instacart and everything because she can't get out of the house and do stuff. And it's so nice for her when I'm not home. She gets a notification when there's someone at the door. She can see who's there. She knows she doesn't have to answer the door. They leave. Then when they leave, she goes and brings everything in. It's such a convenience. And it keeps the solicitors away, too, because you can see who they are. And these solicitors are slick these days. They knock they knock in all kinds of ways so you don't think they're a salesman and all this stuff. But I know because I can see them on my phone because the doorbell camera connects directly to your cell phone. All right, it's a great offer. I'll give you the number in a moment. So Sloman's are going to give you a free doorbell camera. just like I have, that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. They're going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation. When you use their low-cost central station monitoring, you get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery, and you can get that free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. This is also a big part of the security system here at the radio station. Okay, just so you know. The number is toll-free, 833-283-5050, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Shannon on the radio with a quick reminder that if you like music by the Stones, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Four Seasons, and all those big hits from Motown, this morning, right after 10 a.m., it's all back on the air, right here on South Florida's True Oldies Channel.
This Labor Day Kia sales event will be held at one location only.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot.
Make that switch. Make that switch to City Kia. To City Kia.
City Kia presents the largest Labor Day sale ever. Save up to $10,000 on new City Kias. Upside down on your trade, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000. City Kia to the rescue. Financing as low as 0.9%. Payments as low as $99 per month on select models and terms. The first 10 buyers every day will spin the prize wheel. Gift cards up to $500. 70-inch TVs, PlayStation 5s, and many more prizes. This Kia sales event will be held at one location only. City Kia for Greater
Thank you, Charmaine.
off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. Hurry, it's City Kia's largest Labor Day sale ever. Visit us at citykia.com.
Make that switch to City Kia. To City Kia.
Hey everyone, Brian Craig here. You asked Michael Liddell and he listened. Mike's offering the queen size My Pillow for just $19.98 with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. Plus, you can get the 6-piece My Pillow towel set for just $25. The bed sheets, they're $25 too. The new My Pillow mattress topper as low as $69.98. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code KANE for these huge discounts. You can also reach out to 1-800-716-3870.
Does Barry call in today? Okay.
You know, summer may be setting, but it's never too soon to start planning your next cruise vacation with Margaritaville at Sea. And the best time to book it is right now because we're bringing back our best sale of the year on all cruises through 2026. For a limited time, pay for just one guest and up to 3 guests can sail along for free. Bring your friends, your kids, or your favorite travel pals on award-winning cruises to Key West, the Bahamas, and the Caribbean, and save up to $5,000 when 3 sail for free. Book your holiday getaway at sea or next year's epic cruise vacation today at margaritavilleatsea.com.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else.
Hey, guys, if you've not, please like the video. Okay, there's over 1,000 of you in the stream watching live right now. And less than half of you have liked the video. So if you could like the video, I'd appreciate it. It helps grow the channel.
Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.9 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere.
All right, 20 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Calls on hold, stand by. We're talking about this embarrassing interview that Kamala is doing tomorrow. It's her first interview. It's a sit-down with a friend of hers, Dana Bash, on the Democrat-friendly CNN, and she's not doing it alone. She's having her Chinese, I guess maybe Chinese CCP handler, Tim Walz, with her to run cover for her, and that's what we've been talking about. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, buddy.
Hey, Richie. What's up, Richie?
I think I'm the oldest. I'm pretty close to being the longest. In 1967, I came to Florida with my mother and father. I was 18 years old, and they used to go to the beach. I'd go with them once in a while. They had their little transistor radio, and they would be listening to WNWS.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to sit there. And nobody else, everyone else has music. They went to the talk shows. That's how I got started. So I go back when they actually brought Steve on, Steve Kane, and they were, talking about the new talk show host. He became a program director. He had Shirley Peters. He had
yes.
Greg Goes, what's his name at night, Jerry Wichner.
Oh.
He had Neil Rogers.
Yep.
And he had the battle of the talk show hosts. I don't think there's anybody that goes back as far as me, but I might.
Okay, so you think you go back to 83. That Steve came to South Miami in 83. Yeah, but Steve wasn't on the air then. I was talking about who's been listening to us. So
I go back to 80. I go back all the way back.
Okay.
Off and on. Not going to be.
See, the Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in Florida, but Steve started in Orlando. And in 83, he came to Miami, which was WNWS, which I believe was 790 on the AM dial.
I don't know what it was, but that's how far back I
Mm-hmm. All right. So you think you're the longest listener?
I'm almost positive.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to bring a couple things up to the topic this morning, okay? First of all, it's going to be a taped interview. And
Yep. That's right.
They can edit. They can cut, they can redo. This is a bunch of garbage. CNN should never have it.
It should be live. It should be live.
This should not be permitted. This is going to be an infomercial, and that's all it's going to be. And they're gonna get off. They're going to get away with this because they're being.
Oh no, they're gonna do it, but it's a. I was talking in the first hour. I'll repeat it, even though I mentioned the last hour because it's important. I did an interview recently. Somebody I know, they have a podcast. They asked me if I'd be a guest. They're trying to promote their podcast. I don't know if I helped them or not, but they got me on. And I don't do very many interviews when people ask. I have turned down big national interviews and international interviews because they're always trying to set you up. I do interviews, but I'm select. But I only do them live. When I do them. And I did this one recorded because it was a friend of mine, right? And he's a good guy, and he didn't screw me over or anything if he's listening. But he is in another state. So we did it recorded, and he didn't want to do it live. We did it recorded, which is fine, which I don't normally do, but we did it. And I listened to the interview, and it just seemed a little strange. Like there was one instance he asked me a question and I answered a different question. It didn't answer the question. It was like and it didn't seem what I remembered. Right? He recorded it on two audio tracks. I was on one track. He was on another. He forgot to press record on his track, so all he had was me. So he went back in and re-recorded his questions. And it didn't really. Sometimes it wasn't right, but he could have been asking me anything. He could have asked me, how was the gay sex last night? I would have given an answer. You understand what I mean? So what I mean is, the thing with Kamala Harris, since this is a pre-recorded interview, these guys are so good at editing these types of interviews, you would not even know it. So if she cackles too much or looks stupid, they can edit it out. They can do another take. If her answer doesn't fit what Dana Bash said, they can record Dana Bash's question over again. You understand? This being recorded with having a man there, because she's, as Jesse Waters said, a frightened woman, they're going to get away with doing it, but they're going to pay for it dearly after because it's weak, it's embarrassing.
She's not the one that made that decision. The people behind
Well,
her.
she's the boss. She's the nominee.
Yeah, but that does. You know as well as I do, she's not running the show. She's too stupid. I'm telling you, and the press is covered for her. The media, they're going to make this beautiful for her. We're not going to eat it up or anything. But the Democratic Party, Brian, if you noticed, back Zuckerberg yesterday, what he came out was when he actually confessed to that what he did in 2000.
Yeah.
Now these people are not hiding it like they did in 2020.
Listen, I talked about this yesterday. The thing with Zuckerberg, his letter, I call it the confession letter, okay? And to me, Zuckerberg's letter, it's an endorsement of Trump. He is, if he thought the Democrats were going to be in power in January, he wouldn't have done that because they would be plenty pissed at him. He's sucking up to Trump, and he's endorsing Trump, and he's backing Trump, and he knows Trump's going to win. He's probably seen the internal polls. He's Zuckerberg, and that letter is that to me that's an endorsement of Donald Trump by Zuckerberg. It's a confession too, yeah.
After you said that yesterday, a bunch of other people in the media.
I know. Of course they do. They steal my stuff all the time.
All the time, Brian. I tell you. So I'm listening to that, and then I hear.
Who did you hear? Who did you hear call it a confession? Other than me.
It was I listen to YouTube. I listen to people.
They said confession. See, I mean, that, now I got to tell you, I heard some people say confession too later in the after. I thought that was an outside of the box description of it that I gave yesterday.
Let me say this to you. The pollster, Trump's pollster, it's not his pollster, but the Republican pollster that's very accurate, he says 70% of the people out there don't even know Kamala's positions. So they're counting on this. I mean, people aren't stupid. You and I, conservatives, know what the hell's going on here. But there are a lot of people running around out in the United States on nothing. I mean, so they're counting on that.
No, but they do know that what $100 worth of groceries 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, is now $300 to $400, maybe even more, depending on what they buy.
Michigan yesterday, what they
I know. They're keeping Bobby Kennedy on the ballot in Michigan.
No, not Michigan. Rather, Georgia. They're taking them to court. The Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, they're taking it to court over the change of the election law.
Don't worry. Listen. Let me tell you. Zuckerberg knows everything about the internal polling and everything. If there was any chance that the Democrats were going to win, Zuckerberg would not have released that confession letter, because the Democrats, so Zuckerberg's an insider. He gets all the inside information, and I think that's better than any poll.
Right, but how ruthless can these Democrats? These are communists that are doing.
Listen. Democrats used to own black people, okay, and sell them. These are low-life people. Don't put anything past a Democrat. All right, Richie, take care. There's 2 openings on the board. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Everyone that liked the video, thanks so much, guys. Keep liking it, though. If you've not liked the video, please like the video. And don't forget, order your copy of Robert Allen Miltenberg's new book, The Sound of Light. Okay? It's available on Amazon. There's a link in the description of the video. This is the 3rd book of Robert Allen Miltenberg's that I've read and the 3rd one of his that I've promoted. His books are very good. He's a good MAGA guy. He's in the YouTube chat all the time. The Sound of Light from Robert Allen Miltenberg. There's a link in the description of the video. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited and just Kindle, it's $3. And the paperback that I bought, it is just $9.99. And look at the writing. It's nice and big, easy on the eyes. That's just how I like it. Big spaces, easy on the eyes to read. The Sound of Light. Order your copy. He's a good guy, Robert Allen Miltenberg. Absolutely. Oh, man. Let me see. Steve's joining us. Are you there, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on. We got a lot of calls on the line, so you want to... Okay, hold on. Yeah.
KC's comedy and dinner show season is underway with amazing events live in the paddock. Let it be November 8th, Jimmy Fallon for 2 nights, November 15th and 16th, Petty Nicks November 22nd, and more. Plus, check out the exciting OTB action in the Paddock Restaurant, which is the ultimate dining event.
Yeah, there's a link to the book in the description.
And don't forget about Feastin' Football every NFL Sunday. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Hi, it's Katie with Will For You. Now is the time to live beautiful and save beautifully with Kerastan Flooring from Will For You. Kerastan offers the freshest and most realistic looks in waterproof wood and luxury vinyl, featuring realistic wood looks identical to the real thing. For softness under your foot, plush and textured carpets, so easy to maintain. Best selection and by far the best prices. Let's freshen up that house after that busy summer chaos. So come visit Will For You at any of our 3 locations and we'll walk you through the selection process for the perfect Kerastan flooring tailored just for you. Top that off with our experienced installation team for the perfect result, and you're on your way to a home environment you've dreamed of for far less than you imagined. From one neighbor to another, Will For You and Kerastan, the perfect combination for your home flooring project. Visit us in Stewart on US 1 just south of Walmart, in Jupiter on alternate A1A and Indiantown Road, and Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com. Will For You, family owned and operated for over 40 years.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work. Thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602, or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Good morning, Palm Beach. The wait is over. The much anticipated Skillets restaurants are now open here in Palm Beach County. Serving the hottest breakfast in town at any of their 3 locations: Boca Raton, Delray, and Wellington. Daily baked scones, signature custom skillets, made from scratch, giant pancakes and waffles. I could go on and on. Skillets even offers a summer budget menu.
Okay. Yeah, if you're on hold, hang in there. Steve will be joining us, and then we'll go to the phones.
Made-from-scratch meal and to be treated like family. Skillets guests rave as Palm Beach's friendliest staff and best breakfast. Come find out for yourself. Get more information on your local Skillets at skilletsrestaurants.com.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, 35 minutes after the hour. Callers on hold. Stand by. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is joining us. Hey, Steve. Of course it is. Oh, okay. I can hear you. You can hear me, so that's all you need.
Yes, anyway, ye prophets of the short memory, I can't believe what I'm listening to here. Talk about cocky and overconfident. I wish I shared your confidence, but unfortunately I don't. What year was Bush Gore?
Bush Gore. What are you talking about with Clinton? He lost. Bush Gore. Bush Gore. That was 2000.
You remember that race?
Yeah, we won it.
Relive it though, because we were on you couldn't remember the name, the light bulb.
No, we actually in 2000. I remember clearly that, Steve. No, we'd moved beyond all that. We were on 1470 and 740 then.
That it came down in that race. They were recounting. It seems like forever, and the thing was so close that I think they had to go to this.
Mm-hmm.
How close it was.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you how sometimes where we were the light bulb that you people used to laugh, but we had this monster.
Mm-hmm.
It went all the way up out of Florida, and they kept counting and counting and counting. And you know how many Bush won that race?
By about 150-ish. Was it? How many did he win by?
I would like to be historically. Excuse me.
You okay, Steve?
No. The historically accurate. If somebody would look that up for us, I believe it was
537.
That's the
I just looked it up. I didn't remember. I Googled it.
37. Stop and think about that. The national race was decided by 537 votes in Broward.
Mm-hmm.
And we were that little nation, and we were the ones that were responsible for that victory.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying we can do it every time, and I know it's a long shot, but it shows you the importance of how close these races can be.
This one's not going to be that close.
I hope, boy, there's nobody that hopes more than I do that you're right, but it's just...
And I'll tell you one of the reasons why, okay? In 2000, remember that was before 9/11, the economy in 2000 was doing very, very well. And Bill Clinton didn't do anything to make it so good. He just happened to be president when the internet took off, right?
Close.
Well, but things were the country was it was before 9/11. The country was doing well everywhere. And now, though, we're on the verge of a Great Depression because of Kamala. Oh, yeah, it does. It's not close, and it's not going to be close because people are going without food because of Kamala Harris. And people are very well aware of it.
Let me tell you, I'm a little aware of the fact that if you take this thing for granted, I think...
Who's taking it for granted?
You are. You're saying, well, I thought by this time we'd be spending every...
Oh, this is okay. This is. You ever heard that saying, misery loves company? Steve, you're always in a state of anxiety. And you're upset that I don't sound like I am.
You don't sound like you are.
No, you don't sound like, you want me to be like you, in a state of anxiety.
Me is enough. What I'm trying to tell you is that you're overestimating. These people, the one thing I've learned since the year 2000 is these people are so...
But they're on our side now. Well, you got nothing to worry about, Steve. You can spend the next 70 days with the razor blades out and and ready to jump off the building and all that.
You don't mind, since I do hate the show, if I spend my time doing some pushing and getting people to get out there.
What do you think I'm doing?
You're saying it's going to be a cakewalk.
And I always say we got to swamp them at the polls, but we still have to swamp them at the polls because we have to have people turn out and vote in large numbers. Yeah, we have to swamp them. That's what President Trump says.
You're taking two.
See, a lot of people out there. If you want to know what Steve Kane is like, okay. This is what you want. This is what you do, okay? You do it over the weekend, okay? This weekend, binge watch every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Steve is Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and you're not as rich, but your personalities are the same, very similar, except you're conservative and he's liberal. Yeah. But what I mean is you're never happy. You're always depressed, miserable, and in a state of anxiety.
Can I ask you a question? Be a swamp of victory.
Yeah, this will be the biggest victory since Ronald Reagan in '84. I don't expect to win 49 states like Ronald Reagan did, but it's going to be the biggest one since '84. Yes.
And your logic on that?
I just told you.
I mean, the economy is going to sweep everything.
The economy is the biggest thing. Yeah, the economy is the number one. People are struggling. Especially people with young families with children and retirees on fixed incomes that can hardly afford food. Yeah, the people are really struggling financially. Yes, yeah, more than we want to know. Honestly.
Were you listening when this whole Michigas came up with Kamala wanting to end with her?
Yeah, I've been talking about it all morning to do the interview. Come on, yeah.
Yes, let me ask you a question. See, to me, that should have been the end of it. Was Trump on stage?
No, it's an interview that she's doing tomorrow on CNN, and she's going to have Tim Walz with her as backup when Dana Bash interviews her.
Who okayed that?
What do you mean, who okayed it? Kamala Harris and her team okayed it, and CNN.
Whoever okayed it made a huge mistake, because basically if that moment had been played right, the contest would have been over. Whoever was there representing the other side.
Well, we have nothing. It's not the debate. It's an interview she's doing, not the debate. She's doing so.
They consented to an interview.
Yes.
Where she appeared unopposed.
No. It's an interview. Yes, she's being interviewed by a friend of hers, Dana Bash, but what she's doing is being a terrified, frightened woman that she is. She's bringing Tim Walz with her for the interview.
I would suggest that it's presumptuous for them to assume that they can have Tim Walz up there automatically without getting it approved, and it shouldn't be.
Okay. All right, well, Trump can't do anything about it. It's an interview she's doing on CNN. Oh, it's not the debate. It's not the debate. No, it's not the debate, Steve. She's not being joined by Tim Walz at the debate. She's a frightened woman.
She's a frightened little girl.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, let's take some of these calls. People have been hanging on for a while. I'm going to try to take these in the order in which they were received. Okay, so a lot of you have been on hold a long time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, James.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Steve. Am I allowed to go back to the question you had about listening?
Yes.
All right, so I listened to Steve when he was in the Wonderful Isle of Dreams back in '88. Before then, he came back when the King.
That was, by the way, the Isle of Dreams was WIOD 610. Yes.
He bought the station from King Paul.
WFTO.
The Kitty Corps. You were on the Kitty Corps overnights.
The Kitty Corps. Yeah. Yes. Kid. It was called 20-something. The name of the show, not Kitty Corps. Yes.
Who was somebody? I think it was that other not you. The no talent who.
Oh, that's a long list.
So the
No talent. That could be anybody on the air. Oh yes, Mark Scheinbaum.
Yes, he's the one who called it that. Yeah.
Mark Scheinbaum. Mark, let me tell you, if you think Joyce Kaufman has no talent, you've never heard Mark Scheinbaum. He's worse than her, and he was vice president of the National Association of Radio Talk Show Hosts, the biggest no talent ever in the history of radio. It was such a joke.
That was the heyday of radio. It was great. Tom Jicker coming on and joining Steve, and like Neil and Steve going back and forth.
I would argue this is the heyday of radio. Those were great times, no doubt. But this is the heyday.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best. But I mean, as far as the back and forth battles, all right? You won't really have any.
Well, the reason I asked this question, I asked a question earlier. If you think you're the longest listener to the Steve Kane Show, give me a call. Richie called in. He thinks he's you said some things that sound like you're right around there. But the reason I brought that up is kind of a lead-in to talk about Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta, who's the Steve Kane Show dentist, he's been listening to the Steve Kane Show since 1983, which is when the Steve Kane Show debuted in Miami. He's probably in dental school at the time. Maybe not even. Might have been high school. Who knows with me? But, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental has been listening to the Steve Kane Show since 1983, as long as you could possibly listen to it in the South Florida market, because in 77 it was in Orlando until 83. And so when you go and see Dr. Gupta, whose prices really are out of the 80s and 90s, quite honestly, you're going to be meeting with a member of the family, because he knows this show like nobody else, since he's been a listener so long. Let me give out Dr. Gupta's number, then you can finish, okay, with what you had on your mind. Give Dr. Gupta a call. He's been our dentist here on the Steve Kane Show for many years now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633 for Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. All right, so go ahead. Finish up with what you had.
Yeah, I'll finish up. So, real quick, I was the bomber and the screamer back on the FTL.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
Now, that being said, Steve, calm down about the election. We're going to be fine. Brian's right. We got to get out and vote. We can't just sit on our hands. But it's going to be fine. Just relax a little bit. The guns are spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
All right. I admire your confidence.
I mean, oh my, your confidence.
Based on the relative talent of the people involved, because the people involved on the other side don't belong on the same stage with.
But this isn't. But Steve, this thing with Tim Walz, Trump's not going to be there. This is just an interview she's doing on CNN, separate from that. But it's not the debate, and Trump has nothing to do with it. He's not going to be there. So and it makes her look stupid. It makes her look. Listen, this is what I was talking about. Kamala Harris.
More stupid if when it was brought up, whoever was representing.
Nobody was representing Donald Trump, because it's just an interview they set up. But the thing about this interview is what I've been talking about all morning since 6 o'clock. Kamala Harris is a sugar baby who has a series of sugar daddies that have gotten her all the way to where she is. So when Kamala has ever been in trouble, she always leaned on her man, whoever he was at the time, to help her. And that's what she's doing now with Tim Walz.
Chris, to illustrate that by anybody on her side,
everybody, and we're doing it.
Excuse me, no. Well, you didn't hear the end of the story. Somebody nailing her on a live mic saying, absolutely not. Donald represents. You saying that you can't get by?
Well, It just happened, Steve. It just happened last night. They haven't had a chance to yet. Mm. Well, it's not her husband. It's her running mate, not her husband. But he is a man. Yes. 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 That's my answer. Yes. Listen, we got to run, but hey, listen, appreciate the call. Now, the rest of you on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Hard truth.
Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching. Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
The Volin Center's Life Enrichment is an inspiring place that brings meaning, motivation, and memories to every day. Life enrichment at the Volin Center includes nutrition, education, recreation, and intergenerational programming to nurture the mind, body, and soul. Things like bridge and bingo, card and board games, crafts, exercise and gardening, field trips and community outings, and so much more. Learn more about the Volin Center's Life Enrichment at volincenter.com.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is what I'm going to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West El Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone. Night sweats gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet him, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet him again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane.
All right. Let's go back to our phones. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Steve. Steve and Brian. Hey, Steve, I agree with the point that we can't take it for granted because I believe the voter fraud is going to be worse than 2020.
Oh, my goodness. You guys. Steve, listen, guys. Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
What have we done to stop voter fraud and all the millions of illegal...
Jeff, listen. The Democrat, I'm telling you this, they've always been doing things like that since there's been a Democrat Party. So you're not going to stop it. But what oh my gosh. Well, Steve, I got to tell you, this depressing talk. Steve, before the let me tell you, before the break, we had a full board of calls. We have callers on hold still, but not a full board. You two are like got the razor blades out and are depressing people for no reason. Who's saying take it for granted? We got to swamp them. Whatever. Okay. All right.
And one more thing on Kamala Harris on that interview that was taped.
And it's so edited and perfected because she can't do that in person. So it's going to come back to
See. The reason that
because she cannot, unless she has the questions advanced and the answers already ready for her, she cannot debate Trump, and that's.
Listen, the interview she's doing, the way it's set up, it's a friendly interview on CNN with Dana Bash, with her running mate as backup for her because she's a bird brain. That interview that she's doing is worse than not doing an interview at all because it makes her look weak, pathetic, and everything else.
He wants to have a man up there with her destruct.
But what you're doing, Steve, is you're getting depressed because you're watching. Yes, yeah, you sound like it. This doom and gloom, and and so far as you, Jeff, the Democrats have always been doing that kind of stuff. You're not going to be able to stop that. But we have many more people backing Trump than ever before, and I'm expecting a Trump got 80 million or whatever last time. I'm expecting 100 million votes for Trump this time. And this. Oh my goodness! All right, everybody. Hey! Listen. No. All right. No. Listen. Everybody, hold on. Everybody out there, don't waste. Okay, it's all over then. Don't waste your time. All right, just listen to Jeff. Listen to Steve. Stay home. Okay. So, okay. So this is what you guys want me to do. Okay, I get it now. Okay, I get it. Steve was. This is what you guys want me to do. All this incredible historic news that's going on, and I'll go through some of it. Bobby Kennedy, and this is like Bobby's son, President Kennedy's nephew, at a Trump rally on Friday, endorses Trump. He takes himself off the ballot in the swing states. Tulsi Gabbard, very popular with the Democrats, endorses Trump. There's going to be more Democrats endorsing Trump. This thing with Zuckerberg yesterday is the equivalent of an endorsement from Zuckerberg for Trump. It's an admission by Zuckerberg from Facebook that Trump is winning. You don't want me to talk. No, but it's not about. No, we're talking about this time. Okay, I'm living in the now, Steve. Okay. And Zuckerberg is an insider, okay? He has access to the internal pollings that we don't. So Zuckerberg is telling us that not only is Trump going to win, he knows he's going to win because he's seen the internals from Zuckerberg. So what I'm supposed to do is not share all this good news. I'm supposed to spend the next 70 days lying to you all so that you'll be so worried and so depressed that you're going to go out and vote. You're going to go out and vote anyway. We're going, and of course we got to swamp them. But I'm not going to sound depressed and drive the. Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it. You cleared out the board, and I'm walking. No, well, because you're depressing people, and they shouldn't be. We should be happy. We should be happy. We have nothing but good news. Of course, we got to turn out and swamp them, and and of course, but you're like, and Jeff, they're gonna come on, stop whining. We're on top of the world, and I'll tell you this: look at Jack Smith, what he did yesterday. They are unorganized and making very stupid mistakes. Jack Smith, with that other indictment yesterday against Trump, was as dumb of a move as Kamala bringing Tim Walz to this interview with her to protect her. That was desperate and stupid. It is, Steve, this is all in progress. These things are just developing. That just happened yesterday. So all of these things are devastating to the and it shows that they're not organized. They can't even mount a campaign, okay? And they're making very stupid decisions. What Jack Smith did yesterday was out of fear because he's involved in all kinds of illegal things against Trump, and he's afraid that he's going to go to jail. So he did something desperate. That was stupid what he did, and I cannot imagine that Merrick Garland and others signed off on that. He got into a panic attack, Jack Smith, and went and did something without anyone. Listen, we're up against the break. Jeff, thanks for the call. There are 2 openings on our board. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Put the razor blades away, people. Get off the ledge. We'll be back with your calls and Steve Kane after our top of the hour break. Stay tuned.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, and right now it's 79 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 89 degrees, with partly cloudy conditions from 10 to 11 a.m., and then we have some thunderstorms expected after 1 p.m. So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay cool, stay dry, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Heads up in West Palm, a vehicle fire has the off-ramp left shoulder blocked 95 North to 45th Street. A crash in Jupiter 95 South approaching Indiantown Road has a left shoulder blocked. This traffic update is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell with cheesy, crunchy favorites, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink for just $7. Try it at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks and
Jeff's calls are always good.
extra. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC with 65 tables of action, open daily for cash games, high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and exciting tournaments. Grab your friends and check out the $10 poker party on Friday, August 30th. It's a great way for new players to experience tournament play. Bet small and win big with table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum all day, every day. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Is low T keeping you on the bench? Become the superstar you dream of being at Game Day Men's Health. With expert licensed staff trained with clinical research, Game Day Men's Health crafts a playbook specialized for you to raise your testosterone levels and reach peak performance. Rejuvenate, energize, and feel like a champion with increased muscle mass and libido. Call 561-355-5341 or online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com/palm-beach-gardens. Score big at Game Day Men's Health.
Hey everyone, Brian Craig here. You asked Michael Lindell and
W Snooze, that's right. You go back. Mr. HT goes way back. W Snooze, that's correct. No, WNWS was not 940. 940 was WINZ. WINZ. WINZ was 940.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our one opening on the board at 1-888-465-2631. Do you want to go back to the phones? What do you want to do? All right, I'm taking these to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. I'll just say this before we go to the calls. Yesterday, the Democrats did two very stupid things. The one is the Kamala Harris interview on CNN that's with Tim Walz by her side to protect her. That was one, incredibly stupid. And then Jack Smith came out and got another grand jury to indict Trump on the same crimes, apparently. Very desperate, stupid move, which shows that they are in a panic. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Louise, the masked lady in Boca.
Yeah, you'll find some agreement here, Steve. You'll find some agreement here.
Well, no, Steve, I'm with Steve and Jeff because they are realists.
Uh-huh. Says the lady that still wears a mask in 2024.
COVID again.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, what I was saying is the people that are watching CNN and they don't hear the other side. They don't see how ridiculous she is and all these horrible things she's done.
Very small audience. A very small audience.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but to put it plainly, there are also a lot of morons out there, you know?
Yes, and that's what's scaring me. I believe
Yeah.
with Senior Center, we were in an all-women's group. All they want is a woman president.
Yeah. Are you okay? Did we lose you? You sure that you sure that mask is protecting you?
Yeah, no, it's the morning. But I hear them, and they are morons, and that's what's scaring me. And they don't have another TV show to show.
A small audience, a small, tiny cell of an audience on CNN. The fringe. They're the fringe. They're the fringe.
What about all the other TV?
MSNBC is even smaller than CNN. The TV news is irrelevant now, Louise. They have no influence.
You're right. I even hear men.
Well, they're not influencing anyone.
Yeah, but
No.
Why did I waste all my breath and throat and voice trying to point this stuff out to you when you don't even think it could be close? When you're getting up to exercise.
They hate Trump at Fox News. See, what I'm trying to tell you, no, it's not going to be close like 2000. It's not. It's not going to be close like 2000. Well, I can see what's going on in the country. The polls, all the polls we're seeing are fake. Push polls. Okay. Well, all right. I mean, I'm not going to be therapy to people. You guys, I'm not going to be your therapist or Louise's therapist or anyone else's therapist.
too big to ring.
He said, and swamp them. Yes, but what am I? Okay, what am I do? Welcome to the show. You're listening to the longest running radio show. Vote, swamp them, vote, swamp them, vote, swamp them, vote, swamp them. Oh, am I supposed to do that for 70 days? Or, I mean, you know, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to sit here and depress people unnecessarily. Obviously, we got to turn out. Yes, you sound depressed. Not as depressed. Yeah, there's levels. All right, Louise. Thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
And this is Parker from Wellington. I'm with Steve on this, man. Like, I don't think... I think you're the one who needs a therapist. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Why do I need a therapist?
Because you need to get off your high horse and live in reality.
What high horse am I on?
Trump hopefully is going to win.
Mm.
You need to paint the right picture. Just stop it, dude. Like, in the past, you were like, oh, Bobby Kennedy's not impacting anyone but the Democrats. Well, apparently he is impacting Trump.
No. In fact, no. You're totally wrong. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me. Excuse me. No. That's no. It was not me, dude, bro, whatever you want to call me. Well, you have to stop laughing at yourself and listen for a second. Well, no, finish. I don't want to interrupt your good time. Keep laughing. No, you're talking. You're not laughing. You're talking. You're not laughing. Finish your laughing. Listen, what Bobby Kennedy is doing is bringing Democrats to Trump, just like Tulsi Gabbard, and some lunatic fringe libertarians maybe, but mostly Democrats. And that's fine. And he's helping because there are a lot of people out there, like Louise the Mask Lady, talking about these old-timers that have voted Democrat for, 85 years. There's a lot of Democrats out there that have been following and supporting Bobby Kennedy that don't like their party being run by Hamas and all this gender sex change for children and stuff. And Bobby Kennedy is, like Tulsi Gabbard, is telling Democrats it's okay to vote for Trump. We have some things we agree on. We don't agree on abortion or climate change or this or that, but there's some things we agree on. So he's helping Trump in that he's bringing Democrats over to Trump. He wasn't taking MAGA voters away from him. Yeah, exactly. So your understanding of what I said was not anything close to what I've said. Bro, dude, go. You're not laughing now, so go ahead.
I am laughing. I just think that I second what I said in the beginning.
You second what you said? All right. Well, if you have nothing to say other than to quote yourself, we'll move on. Let's see here. Let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. Chris from Pop. Great show. You know what? Some of it's ridiculous, but we need this because, as everyone knows, on a smaller scale, many Democrats are coming over, and it's sad that our communist liberals, they can't see that openly. If you're in certain industries and you show your support for making America great again, you're going to be treated evil and boycotted and shamed, and this is still America, and we have a choice. So, but I'm so glad you mentioned some key points. Like, I was in high school, 78 to 81, when I wanted so badly for Jimmy Carter to get out because he was, again, too weak, and he was really strong-armed by his liberal party. But, and I was too young to vote. I was only 17 in 1980. But when Reagan came in, it was just like you said. I mean, as soon as he was sworn in, those hostages were released. And I got to tell you something. If it wasn't for the desperate Democrats and the Clinton era, we would never have seen another Democrat president since Reagan. But yeah, as you know, Ross Perot took.
And the thing that's right. The thing with what's going on right now, okay? If you follow what's really going on, not the Karl Rove analysis that Steve's getting, okay? There are millions of people that have never liked Trump, never supported Trump, never voted Republican, who are coming out to support him. Don Lemon did a series of street interviews in Atlantic City. He couldn't find a black person that was voting for Kamala. He couldn't even find a black person that said she was black. This was just a couple days ago, right? It was over the weekend. And if you and the problem is, see, the divide that Steve and I have is television versus the internet. I believe the television news is irrelevant today. They have no influence. They're not even telling you what the hell's going on. And if you follow what's going on the internet, you know exactly what's going on. And all the indicators are in Trump's favor, big time. This thing with Zuckerberg that I was talking about before the break, okay? Zuckerberg's letter, if he thought the Democrats had any hope of winning, he wouldn't have written that letter, okay? and he's on the inside. He knows who's going to win and who's going to lose. And Zuckerberg just came out yesterday with that letter. That's an endorsement of President Trump, and he's telling the world Trump is going to win. He's kissing Trump's butt. And he knows who's going to win because he's seen the internal polls, because he is an insider, Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, that was huge, and I believe two things. Yes, he will get over 100 million votes this time. People are fed up. We need this country. And so, really, some of those desperate Democrats need it.
And without Facebook on their side, how can the Democrats do anything, right?
Exactly. They have their state control media. I mean, I get some of these people, yes, Democrats have been doing this forever. But,
yeah, get over it. Get over it. You're never going to stop them from doing that. They've always done it. I'll give you an example, okay, since Bobby Kennedy's in the mix. You know, President Kennedy, he was in the House of Representatives before the Senate. And do you know how he won his first Democrat primary? John F. Kennedy ran for the House of Representatives in Massachusetts. Do you know how he won his first Democrat primary? His dad got two people on the Democrat primary ballot with the same name. There were three names on the ballot: John F. Kennedy, and then two guys that had the same name. So that's how Democrats have always been doing this crap, okay, and some pretty devious things. And we've won a lot of elections when you have a populist candidate. As an example, Ronald Reagan in 1984 won 49 out of 50 states. He only lost Minnesota, where Walter Mondale was from, who, by the way, was his opponent. You understand? So this is, you guys need to cool off with that. All you're doing is discouraging people from turning out with that crap. And they'll say, what's the point?
Candidate movie, because he got in on name recognition as well. But I believe his father in that movie. But like you said, he was cool with it. After the election, that was awesome. He's like, what do I do now?
What now? What now? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, his dad used to be governor or something, if I remember correctly. All right, appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in. There's only one opening on the board. I'm Brian. Steve, you with us? Okay, all right. We'll take our first break of the last hour. Come back with your calls after this.
Don't sit on the
Oh, my goodness. How's it going? Good. Oh, were you able to get that commercial? Oh, awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you. How you doing? Well, I'm going to pull it and we're going to
update it, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm getting a spot off the show today and getting it redone.
All right, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question, Dee. All right, 21 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Tight in the new prison.
Mm. Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, our number is 1-888-465-2631. I'm taking these calls in the order in which they were received. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Berta from Texas.
Hey, Berta.
Yes, on the front lines of Invasion USA.
Oh, I feel great. And Steve, I'm calling for you more than anything. I'm on Brian's side. I feel the joy that Brian has, and the reason why is because they're lying to us.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, listen to me. This is going to be those ultimate tests of the television media, if it could really sway the people. Because in this era, we have the internet, we have YouTube. I have like 5 TVs in my room, and
So
I don't turn them on.
What are you predicting is going to happen?
And you have to study the polls like Brian does. They are completely playing and fixing the numbers. The Biden administration fixed the numbers.
You know, Trump said on Friday, he did a poll at the Friday rally with Bobby Kennedy about the nickname for Kamala. And he said he likes doing these polls as opposed to paying $200,000 for a poll. He says they don't even talk to people. They just write in 48, 49 and then tell you they did a poll. He said that Friday night. That's Trump. So, the polls, they don't even poll people according to Trump. They just make up the numbers to make. See, the media is, it's not only that they're on, and this is where Fox falls into some problems. And there's good people on Fox. Jesse Waters is doing great stuff. But the media on television want to do a horse race to keep you watching all the time. So they on top of the fact that they hate Trump. So, so they want to keep you on the edge so you don't leave them. Fox does. Who? No, there's some people on Fox that like Trump, but there's a lot. But it's run by Trump haters. Paul Ryan, there's some people on Fox that like Trump, but it's run by Trump haters.
They're made
Yeah, but their management hate Trump. So forgetting about the primetime stuff, during the day there's a lot of negative stuff.
If it was only for television today, remember back in the day when John F. K. got assassinated? My mom told me the story 20 million times. They had only television. Now in this era, they tried to assassinate President Trump. And what happened? It went back to court. You had congressmen just yesterday or the day before yesterday going through the interview because they have a lot of questions because a lot of people submitted videos. In this era, we have media.
More questions than answers.
Listen to this. There was a story that came out today. Megyn Kelly, okay, talk about the difference between TV and the internet. Megyn Kelly, who's exclusively online, has a larger viewership than NBC and ABC News combined.
Yes, heard that.
I mean, think about that. And the television, the horse race, I'm not saying there's not people on Fox that are Trump supporters. There's a lot of them. But their management hates them. They're running a promo right now on Fox with Brit Hume talking about the most charismatic person I've ever met is Bill Clinton. You see that? You see this commercial with his air, you know. So, and that's the attitude of management at Fox. So their news stories, there's a lot of news they're not reporting.
Remember, Brian, would you rather have the on-the-air personalities working for you, or would you rather have the management?
Both. I'd rather just go to Twitter. I don't.
I'd rather choose myself.
Yes.
Both sides there.
Yes.
We the people choose. That's what America is made for. That is exactly what America is made for. It's okay to have both two different views. That's why we accepted John F. Kennedy, and also I like Tulsi Gabbard. Now I don't like the Democratic views, but her values. This is the old school Democratic Party that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard was with President Trump yesterday, and she says we disagree on a lot of things, but there are certain principles we agree on. And, she's talking about the border, the wars, and inflation.
And this is history. You know why? Because now the true meaning of what America is. Because if you go back and listen to the that Kamala did, it speaks always of democracy. Every person will keep talking about.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Listen, all right, I appreciate the call. Now, we are in hurricane season. We call it rainy season. It's hurricane season in Florida, which means it rains pretty much every afternoon. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, okay? You want to call Tom Laporta. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing can help you. And he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. No other roofer says that. Not only that, Tom Laporta is a good MAGA guy. I'm going to give you his cell phone number in just a moment. He works on every type of structure, both residential and commercial, and with every type of roofing material there is. Okay? If you have an HOA, whether it's a condo association or your home's in an HOA, he's an expert dealing with HOAs as well on getting the work done. Also, since Tom Laporta is not just a roofer but a contractor, Florida law allows him to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, both residential or commercial, which speeds up the process. Give him a call, okay? Again, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. We'll be right back.
Morning radio.
Hi, how you doing?
Pay for 2020. In fact, even if Joe Biden were not running for president, he were still a private citizen going off into the sunset. Would it be okay for the president of the United States, yes or no, to ask another foreign leader to investigate?
I feel like it's more insulting than what Trump did. Trump says you're the enemy of the people.
That is precise.
But she's kind of saying,
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser-away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. It's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio. Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisingdepot.com.
Wait is finally over. Women's professional soccer is here. Join Fort Lauderdale United on September 29th for our historic home opener. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at FTLUTD.com.
Attention seniors, are you not happy with your current Medicare plan? If not, give Debbie at I Will Advisors a call. 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080. There are 5-star rated plans that you can enroll in the middle of the year. That's right, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. Debbie and her family have been taking care of Steve Kane Show listeners since 1993. Debbie even handles Steve Kane's Medicare. So if you're not happy with your current Medicare plan, give Debbie a call right now and go over the options. 954-753-8080. Debbie can help you no matter where you're located in the state of Florida. 954-753-8080. And online, iwilladvisors.com.
And now, a message from Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com.
This is Scott from CutMyKilowatts.com.
Oh, man.
Your AC is struggling, running constant, trying to hold the temperature, maybe even failing late afternoon. Your electric bill has gone up, even double. Radiant Barrier is the cure. Stop the heat gain, lowering the temperatures in the attic up to 40 degrees, cutting the FPL bills up to 40%. Dog days of summer sales, 50% on Radiant Barrier and insulation removal, rat proofing. We even do AC ducts in the heat of the summer. Act now and get $500 off Radiant Barrier over 2,000 square feet and $1,000 off over 4,000 square feet, plus a 30% federal tax credit. So call now 954-939-1500 to save big. Call 954-939-1500 and talk to the owner Scott. That's 954-939-1500 or CutMyKilowatts.com. Estimates given on the phone, work done in days, not weeks. Easier than ordering a pizza.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Celebrating.
All right, and every line on the board is lit. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. Yep.
Kinds of closeness that we don't even think of.
Close. Oh, my goodness. Close.
This election may be get to the western end of the country. Trump could be one state short or two.
Yeah, it's possible.
Georgia.
Brian Kemp is now working with President Trump. They've made up. Did you see JD's speech yesterday, JD Vance? Okay, JD Vance was in the swing state of Michigan all by his lonesome yesterday, right? He didn't have Trump with him. thousands and thousands and thousands turned out for J.D. Vance without even the headliner there, right? Had the backup act. I've never seen a vice presidential nominee turn out a crowd like that, and that's in the swing state of Michigan. That's better than a poll. It's amazing. During the week, middle of the, during the work week.
I mean, we might be,
Could. Yeah, okay.
more state.
I'm going to go to bed early on election night. I don't stay up through it. And I'll wake up in the morning and celebrate.
You gotta get your hope.
No, I'm not going anywhere on election night. I'm going to go because I got to be here early in the morning. But I never stay up through the elections. I go to bed early every election night. I'm not going anywhere on election night, Steve. Don't no promos yet. We'll do something, but not on election night. No, I got to be here the next morning. I got to get up at like 1 a.m. to do all the prep for the show. I did not go in. No, I did not. I did not go anywhere on election night. No, can't do it. All right, listen. We got a full board of calls. Let's see. Who's been on hold the longest? Okay, you have. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes.
Oh, hey, this is Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
Hey, Joan.
I feel better about this election because Judicial Watch and the vote have done a lot of things on cleaning up election rolls. That's number one. Okay? Number two, that Pressler has really been pushing his stuff. And he's been out.
And the other thing is, if you look at what's going on, there's been different events around the country that you've seen reported in different media outlets where like as an example, they were in a black barbershop in Detroit. Everyone's voting for Trump. I mean, who would have thought, right? I mean, the support for Trump is at an all-time high, mainly because of the economy, the inflation, followed by the southern border invasion, the crime that's coming up from it. We've got everything in our favor. These. Yeah.
And if you look at YouTube, there's ABL, Breakfast at Tatum, the Black Conservative Perspective, LV Nation, LFR Family.
All right, enough of the free promos, okay? But no, hold on. What you're saying is true. President Trump has been doing interviews with a lot of online media that is American online media. There have been tens of millions of people listening to each interview. He's going to have the largest percentage of the young vote any Republican has probably had since Eisenhower. They've lost the young vote. The Gen Z voters are in Trump's favor because a lot of the media appearances he's been doing with them. We got nothing to worry about. That doesn't mean we don't have to turn out in large numbers.
There are a lot of black male conservatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Veteran biker, he's a white guy.
No, I said no more of the. The reason I don't like the promos is it's not because it's free promos. A lot of them I don't know who they are. No, I don't know who they are. Some of them I do, like Officer Tatum and some of the ones you mentioned. But I don't like promoting people that I don't know who they are. They could be, Nazis. All right, but I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, so you'll find some bonding here, Steve, with Renee from Harlem.
You guys sound desperate.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing. And I wasn't exactly as enthusiastic about Kamala at the beginning because I really wanted Bernie.
Mm.
As time has gone on, I'm really warming up to the idea of a woman of color being the first president of the United States. I can get used to that.
Yeah.
She's sounding pretty good.
What is something she's proposing that sounds good?
Whoa, she's proposing a lot of things that are sounding pretty good.
Like what?
For Medicare for all, that's pretty good.
When has she said that? No, she did. Medicare. What does that mean, Medicare for all? What does that mean, Medicare for all? For who's all? Who's that?
Do you know how to speak English? By the way.
No. By the way, I want to talk about this. This is we asked you for a policy position. This is a good one. Medicare for all. So that means everybody gets free health insurance in this country?
Pronounce the president's name right. Her name is Kamala.
Okay. You can call me whatever you want, but you're not gonna distract.
Kamala.
No, you can call me anything you want. I don't care what you call me. And you can call me that too. I don't care what you call me. So you like, hey, listen, if you want to think of me as a woman because it makes your it makes your sexual attractions to me sound less gay, you can go ahead and do that, Renee. That's okay. I don't mind. You're not the first guy that's had attractions towards me in this audience, unfortunately. But you said that Medicare for all is one of her policy positions, and you support that. So everybody gets free Medicare in the country under Kamala's plan, is what you're telling us?
American that has health needs will be taken care of.
Well, how do you pay for that?
Who doesn't have health needs?
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
You're not making any sense at all.
No. It's you're not making sense. No. Now he's gonna. How would you pay for this free health insurance for everybody in the country? And Steve's addition to that is who doesn't have health needs? That means everybody. I got a hangnail. I need insurance. How do you pay? Who's going to pay for that?
You.
You? What do you mean I'm going to pay for it? What does that mean?
White racist like you.
Rich white racist. Okay. So how many rich white guys do you think there are that are racist? That pay for everybody's health insurance?
People like you.
What? Okay, so then I'm not paying for it. Okay, so I'm one guy off the list. Somebody else will pay for it. So what does that mean? So we're going to pay for everyone's health insurance in the country. Everyone's health insurance in the country, right? What would that do? What you said Medicare for all. All means all people. What would that do to the economy?
What do you know?
How does it help the economy?
Because everyone who needs health care will get it. Everybody else in the world.
Who do you know? Excuse me. Who do you know that needs to see a doctor that can't? Excuse me. Who do you know that needs to see? Slow down. These are your positions. Listen. I'm trying to get you to defend your own positions. Who do you know that needs to see a doctor in America that's been denied seeing a doctor?
Well, I don't have all the...
Oh, you don't have a story. Okay. No, no one in this country is, excuse me. Who do you know that's died because they didn't have access to a doctor that needed to see a doctor in America?
Well, when I find out...
When you find out. Okay. The fact is, if you're a homeless person, you're calling us from Harlem. If there's a homeless guy in Harlem, okay, and they need to see a doctor, they just go to the emergency room. And they see a doctor, and they get treated. Yes!
So how about all those cases of women who've been going to the hospital and winding up dead?
Tell me who. Give me a name. I'll look it up right now. Give me a name. I will Google it, and I'll read the story on the air right now. Steve's going to be the first patient. Okay. What? Breonna Taylor. Yeah. Thank you for your call. Oh my goodness. Let me talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas for a minute. We need to have a buffer between that guy and Jupiter Joe Thomas, all these ups and downs in the stock market lately, that's a very stressful thing for people. You don't need to go through all that. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas. He's offering no-charge phone consultations. Talk to him about annuities. With annuities, you don't have to worry about the stock market ups and downs. Your money is safe, and you can generate a revenue stream from it in your retirement. No matter where you're located, you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation with Joe Thomas. Give him a call. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. JupiterJoe.com. The phones are so busy, we're having a hard time getting out to William Youngerman. So we'll do a little buffer time while we're waiting to get a line out to William Youngerman. The phones are ringing. As soon as there's an empty line, the phone rings. So we haven't been able to get a hold of William Youngerman with the gold report, but we will shortly. Just give me the thumbs up, and we'll go right to him, Mike. You know, what happened there, though, with that last caller, Renee from Harlem, is a very instructive call, right? You know, this whole idea that people are denied access to health care. No one is denied access to health care in this country, but you might have to pay for it. But if you're someone who's poor, homeless, poor, they can't make you pay for it, right? They can't make you pay for it. You don't have a house, you don't have a job, they can't garnish your wages, they can't put a lien on your house, so you get it for free. You know, what you're talking about is everyone having free Medicare. And one of the biggest problems we have with Medicare is that there's a lot of seniors that could afford private health insurance, but they have free government health care, and it's a big financial burden on the country. Okay, we got William Youngerman? Okay, I'll just go right to it since we don't need the bumper. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking this morning?
Metal's okay, giving us a buying opportunity as we test that $2,500 number. Again, the markets yesterday were up $6.30 on gold, closing out the day at $2,500, $23.90 the ounce, after trading in a range of $25.03 to $25.26. Silver up 6 cents yesterday, closing at $29.92 the ounce, while platinum was unchanged at $959, and palladium was up $9 at $957. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $24.93 on the low and $25.30 on the high. And right now, we're at $24.97, giving us a good buying opportunity today. I love it when it gets down and tests those $2,500 numbers, give us a little buying opportunity. Down $26.90 right now at $24.97 on gold. Silver down 72 cents at $29.20 the ounce. Silver seems to still want to go higher and has been testing that $29 number lately. It got up to over $30 yesterday. Platinum down $29 at $930 the ounce, and palladium down $21 at $936. So definitely a buying opportunity today.
Yeah, that's right, and gold's on sale, which is something that doesn't happen that often these days. So it's a time to, if you're not involved in the metals, to pick up some. But if you already are, to increase your holdings. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. And remember, no matter where you're located in America or the world, you can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Youngerman. His number, toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. If you can't stop in, you should, because William Youngerman's shop is really a beautiful museum. You'll be blown away at what's on display there. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, and we are back, and there's only one opening on our very, very busy board. All right, you want to go back to the phone, Steve? All right, we heard from one Democrat today. A little confused, but, you know. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian?
Caller?
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Jennifer calling you from Wellesley. Well, at least I live on the west side of Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, boy, where I was almost killed in Jacksonville a couple months back.
Well, I originally moved here from north central Wisconsin.
Oh.
Because that's a very blue state. And my husband got transferred for a job down here in Jacksonville, Florida, but we chose way over here. We've discovered real early that the traffic is horrendous.
Yeah, and the crime. You know, I made a big mistake in Jacksonville. I left my hotel at 3 in the morning and started walking the streets of. I made a YouTube video about this. If you look up, go on YouTube, Brian Craig Jacksonville, you'll see it. I left my hotel and started walking the streets of downtown Jacksonville at 3 in the morning, and I heard an alarm going off, a security alarm at a building in the middle of the night. No one was on the street, and I and I thought it would make very interesting it would make my video more interesting. So I walked towards the alarm, and that big mistake. It all went downhill. And I'm lucky to be here. I was filming as this guy was about to kill me, and I thought my video was going to end up like the Blair Witch Project. I'd be dead and the film would live on. But just look it up on YouTube. But anyway, that's not why you called today.
I'm a huge YouTube watcher now. On the internet, I believe nothing that I see on my television.
You're a smart woman. Smart woman.
I'm a huge MAGA supporter. Our HOA finally voted in that we can have political signs or flags in our HOA, and we are proudly displaying the one where there was that assassination attempt on Trump. They're proudly mounted on.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. That's a good one.
Absolutely. So, anyways, I was looking at YouTube this morning, Brian, and I read something and heard it, that out in the state of Oregon now, mind you, I'm a retired over-the-road truck driver. I put in 30 years. And I did a lot of California and Oregon. And those were the two most pathetic states I've ever driven in. So when I read that and heard it this morning on Oregon, is it true that the Democrats out there now have that they're giving $30,000 allowance on first-time home buyers, not to U.S. citizens? You only can get it if you are an illegal immigrant.
No. You're almost correct. Okay. In Oregon, they are offering $30,000 towards the down payment of a new home, okay? But you have to be a non-U.S. citizen, not illegal. You have to be a non-U.S. citizen, not just, I guess, yeah. You have to be a non-U.S. U.S. citizens need not apply. No down payment assistance for you. Immigrants only. Non-citizens only. Isn't that beautiful?
And then another thing that I've seen real quick is out in Aurora, Colorado. Now, that's a suburb of Denver. And they had said something about the MS-13 gang.
Yeah, I got that story, too. I didn't get... There's a Venezuelan gang. Yeah, I was going to get to that, but we haven't had a chance to get to it. It's a Venezuelan gang. I can't pronounce the name. It's in Spanish. They've taken over Aurora, Colorado, apparently. Yes. Yeah.
That was very sad to see.
Yeah, and these are really bad guys. These are the ones that have, like, face tattoos and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that they're never going to get ever a reputable job. Once you do that, you're out. You're out of the...
Well, drug dealing and gangbanging still work.
Well,
yeah, no.
I've always thought of a job as something that I was real free.
Yeah, all right. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. Good call from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. Let's see who's next. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Oh, yes, Doris.
It's hallelujah time for Margate and Steve, sweetheart. You got to listen to Brian. He'll always be right, but he's never wrong, especially when it comes to these election matters.
Oh.
So happy you're there because it was you to whom I spoke many, many, many years ago on my first call to a talk show. And I put the radio on, and you were talking about, oh my gosh, it's in the paper that they're going to have a vote on putting girls in the Little League, the boys' Little League. What do you think about that? Well, I grabbed the phone and called you, and I said, Mr. Kane, my grandson is in Little League, and he's not too good with the bat. And if a girl were to be in the Little League and follow him after he struck out, he'd be heartbroken. He'd be devastated. We don't need girls. And you loved it, and you said, you hear that, folks? Ready, that's word. and you had some.
Wait a minute. You were a grandmother that far back? Oh my goodness, Doris. How old? You got to be close to 100 now. How old are you now?
95.
95. Oh my goodness.
And Steve is only 5 years behind.
A little more. Not yet.
But anyway.
Almost, not quite.
But I don't know what year that was. But I don't think they ever let women in the Little League, thanks be to God. But Steve, I got some good advice. I've been giving it to you for years. When you have these anxieties about anything, everybody just say, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Yes, and the angels will come and solve your problem.
That's right.
It's interesting you say that, Doris, because you know what? To show you that I've been a little down of late, I start thinking of what happens if the Lord does not.
Oh, please.
We have perhaps sinned.
Steve, how do you think the bullet missed Trump? How do you think the bullet missed Trump? By like quarter of an inch.
Amen. Boy, am I happy to hear you say that, Brian, because I hadn't even thought of that. I just said, oh, thank God. But you're right. There must have been 16 angels there.
Mm-hmm.
And they made sure that bullet went someplace.
That's right. That's right. Hey, well, Doris, it's good to hear from you. Check in every once in a while, so we know you're still with us, okay, at your age. Okay, take care. She's going to outlive all of us. 95 years old. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right. By the way, I want to mention, Steve, before we go, huge special on the MyPillow that started it all, just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. I paid $65 for that pillow years ago. I've had it about 10 years, and it looks like the day I got it. Now, you're getting the wholesale employee pricing, just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. Okay. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
JJ, what's up?
Well, I'd say Brian's up on his high horse, apparently, but I would say more importantly, Trump's numbers are way, way up with the Kennedy and with the RFK.
Tulsi.
What's the latest you've seen?
Well, the thing that I think that's important to realize is that it's a -1 +1 when we get it's a multiple effect, okay, when we get a voter from the Democrats. And I think that Kennedy being sort of, well, even though it's old, the Democrat Party is not what it used to be, but still Democrat royalty in a way, and certainly a lot more people are going to look at things more closely than they would with him doing what he did. And I just think, I've said for probably going on a year now that Trump's going to get 100 million votes.
Mm-hmm.
People call in and have concerns, because listen, I'm concerned. I can see all the unbelievable, fantastic things are happening, so I'm really not worried. But I can understand people, even Trump himself, saying, too big to win. But I just look at it from something. I try to look at something positive. Right? Take Donald Trump and Ted Nugent. Take President Trump's first name, Donald. Ted Nugent's last name, Nugent. You get Donald Nugent, and that is the.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we're almost out of time. The reason that I don't entertain those calls is the same reason that I don't take the calls when the people talk about legalizing marijuana. There's certain topics that if you give 2 syllables to them, every line is lit up about them. Marijuana and I just choose not to go that direction. There's too many other things and too much good news to talk about that turn the show into that every day. You understand what I mean? All right, but listen, you're exactly right. And in the battleground state of Ohio, I appreciate the call. Listen, we're out of time for today. There are 2 openings on the board, so hang in there. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Steve Kane is here. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Everyone else that's already subbed, please like the video. I'll see you later, guys, okay? Keep an eye out. There'll be a podcast later today. Take